Today we're here to talk about natural point of aim, which is, in my opinion, the most important fundamental of marksmanship.
NPA is the ability to keep your reticle on the intended point of aim and have your body aligned to the rifle while your rifle is at NPA, such that the rifle doesn't move even after an extended period of time.
If you have a good understanding of natural point of aim, it'll hide a lot of sins when it comes to the other points of navigating a stage and putting precise rounds down the range on the target. So today, to demonstrate natural point of aim, we're going to do it with a pro shooter and a novice shooter, and I'm going to tell you guys how to check natural point of aim on your own, and then be able to figure out how to diagnose and fix some of the issues that you can have with natural point of aim.
We are MDT. We design, test, and create precision rifle chassis and accessories to help you shoot better.
First thing we're going to do is shoot a 3-round group on paper at 100 yards, just as you normally would. Build the best position you can, and then shoot a 3-round group. So at this point, we have a group shooting your normal shooting posture and your normal technique. If you want to demonstrate whether that is at your natural point of aim, you can do two things. The first thing you can do on your own is build your position again. And when you think you have a good position on target, close your eyes and go through 3 to 5 breathing cycles on the same exact aim point, and just open your eyes. Are you still at that same aiming point? If you are, your natural point of aim is probably pretty good. But what we're going to do today is we're going to actually test this theory. Now you want to make sure that you have control of the range and there's no possibility of anybody downrange, and you have a buddy system and make sure that there's no way for somebody to walk in front of your line of sight. But what we're actually going to do is let him do the same thing, except we're going to fire 3 rounds with his scope covered and make sure to keep him honest, because I can't see through his scope, but I want to prove that his natural point of aim is actually the same when he's shooting with his eyes closed versus when they're open. So at this point, we're going to switch to a different dot so that we can see this group populate right next to the other group.
Ready.
All right. And I'm just watching him go through a couple breathing cycles. All right, you can break the shot. Do your natural process, break the shot whenever you want. All right, we're going to do that a couple more times. All right, so we're going to go down and check out those groups, and we're going to see if there's any migration in the average group center. And then we're going to do this with a more novice shooter and see if we can see a difference.
Cold bore shot, then they walk to the bottom. On my cold bore shot, cold bore was a little high. That rifle came out of the case. The very first round, I was aiming at this point here and hit 1 bullet width high. I mean, there's a case, right? So it's less than a bullet diameter high. Then one more right through it. So those two went to the exact same hole. Then we did the NPA drill. And I know that at that point, my rifle should drop to its normal, meaning less than a bullet width. I was aiming here and impacted half a bullet diameter from that with 3 shots through there, 2 through there, 1 through the bottom. So this rifle should be capable with 3-shot groups of a 0.1 to 0.2 inch group virtually all the time on a 3-shot group. So anything above that is inherent motion in the gun, not controlling recoil, trigger press, follow through.
Very small amounts of natural point of aim.
Very, very tiny. Yep.
All right, so today we've got Joshua. He's volunteering to test this NPA drill. He's got a little less experience than Francis has, so we're going to have him shoot the exact same 3-round group on a different dot. We're going to see what his group size is, and then we're going to try the NPA drill with Joshua. So Joshua, I want you to pick that first target we just talked about and put a 3-round group on that paper. Now we're going to work through the natural point of aim portion of this with Joshua and see where his group migrates, if it does. Ready? All right, whenever you're ready. Okay, let's do it 2 more times. All right, now we're gonna go down and analyze the groups now that we have both shooters' groups on paper and see how they look. And honestly, these groups are still stellar. Good job, buddy. This was his first group, right?
Yep. That's his first group.
So this group is pretty much on the point of aim that you were discussing. You guys were both aiming at the bottom of this circle. But if you see, his group walked up and left, which a little bit is acceptable, and honestly, these are both still really good. I think if people try this drill at home with a buddy in a safe environment, you'll find that you might actually have, your groups might actually get smaller, but the point of aim, the average point of impact from your point of aim might shift a little bit. And that's a really a good example of when your natural point of aim is off a little bit and you're struggling to hold the rifle on target. I like to see the groups get smaller when the person understands natural point of aim. It's really the natural progression of things. One thing I did notice when Joshua was shooting is he had a really strong grip on the bag, which is indicative of something that is stressful in your arm or anywhere else in your body, or you're trying to get that rifle to stay where it's at. Anytime you have stress or you're putting pressure on the bag, it could relax over time. So when you're doing this drill and you wait, 30 seconds, that rifle has a tendency to drift up if the bag sags, and then you'll have your shots walk high and left. And that's kind of what we see here, moved up and left a little bit. But honestly, his groups are really good. And the fact that we've been having this natural point of aim discussion in his presence for the last, hour, I think he probably took a few tips and took them right to the shooting line before we even started.
These are really good groups, but I mean, to point this out, just to make sure we're clear, these are approximately 0.1 groups consistently, right? Half a bullet to 0.15s.
Yeah.
These are closer to a 0.25 to 0.3.
Yeah, 0.4.
Or even maybe a 0.4. Those are half-inch circles.
Yeah.
And because of that, that means that the rifle precision doubled on a nearly perfect rifle with as humanly perfect as I can make it shoot. This is what it's capable of. And I can see I have some vertical in it. He is getting more randomness around it, and specifically the point of aim. This was the expected 0 when you're watching the rifle. That's exactly where I expect it to print. This one, the 0, he's now high, so the rifle is dropping, and it is opening up.
It's about 1/10 of a shift.
Yeah, so it's about double of what we would expect from that rifle.
All right, so we'll leave you with this. I want to go through and point out a few things that you can do to improve your natural point of aim as a shooter and as in your rifle system itself. The first thing I noticed is Joshua was squeezing his bag with his right hand, and you can see the white in his knuckles and his fingertips and how much pressure he's using. I want you guys to really settle in your bag on target. Sometimes this is hard to do in a match, but the more you understand this and the better you're able to do this, then the tighter your groups will be and the better your natural point of aim will be. The next thing I want to move to is his trigger hand. I saw his trigger being engaged very slowly with his finger, but he was kind of jerking it a little bit. His hand also didn't look as relaxed as it could have. So those are two areas that you can focus. Get a really relaxed grip hand. Make sure with the MDT grip you play with adjusting it forward and back. You don't want to have any tension in your hand, your forearm, or your upper arm. Then we're going to move forward to the bipod. Bipod position is key. If you're a bigger shooter, you probably want a higher position. So we're talking about natural point of aim of the rifle and of the shooter itself. So make sure your bipod height is set for you. Make sure the width is set for you. The other thing is, if you're on a surface, make sure it's as smooth a surface as possible. Don't get yourself in a crack in concrete or in boards or anything like that. You want this rifle to be at its natural state. And at the end of the day, everything you do and work on in natural point of aim is going to yield smaller groups downrange.